What's up, everyone? I'm GKB from Gamers Knows Best. I'm joined today by my co-host, She-Wolf.
Hey, everybody.
So today we wanted to go ahead and take a look at the newly released gameplay footage of Shadow of War. I thought it was really cool. Before we get into that, let's go with a little bit of a brief description. So Shadow of War is the sequel to Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor by Monolith Productions. Now, there was an announcement trailer about a week ago showing off, some of the story and stating that they would show gameplay on March 8th. So that dropped today, and they did not disappoint. Like, there was 16 minutes of gameplay, and they really talked about the game, which I really didn't think was going to happen. I thought it was only going to be a 3-minute thing of, Talion and Celebrimbor just going at it, killing some orcs and all that kind of stuff. But it was a hell of a lot more than that. So I want to dive into some of it today, do an impromptu little podcast thing, and talk about this gameplay. So let's talk about what was your overall impression, She-Wolf? What did you think about the trailer, just watching it through the first time?
All right, so watching it through the first time, I was actually really surprised that it drew me in more than I expected it to. Because now, I did play the first one, but I got a little bored of it throughout the time, and so when I watched this trailer, I was kind of expecting to have the same style of gameplay. Now, it does, but at the same time, it is actually a little bit different, which kind of makes things unique. And hey, I can freaking fly a drake. I love dragons.
That was pretty cool, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought the trailer, the trailer announcement was really cool. And then I just got blown away by this gameplay. It started off with just this montage of Talion doing a whole bunch of things. And then they went into just everything about the game, the new stuff. Mm-hmm. They're going with a real RPG focus this time, which is really cool. We're going to talk about that here in a little bit.
Magic Mike is a little mad at us. He
says,
up, "Oh, I see how it is."
It's kind of just impromptu, bro. We just want to jump in and start talking about it. So let's go ahead and get into the graphics. I guess we can kind of do this kind of what we do on reviews kind of thing. This isn't a review. It's just an impressions and all that kind of stuff. So I thought personally the game looks fantastic. But it didn't blow me away. And the reason why I say that is because the first game was just so good and looked so amazing. And it's just kind of more of the same, and not in a bad sense either. It's just really good. That's kind of what I wanted for the second game, is more of the first game with just a whole bunch of upgrades and stuff like that. And they totally delivered on that. What did you think of the graphics overall?
Well, okay, so the trailer only goes up to 1080p.
Yep.
And
resolution.
I'm going to throw that out just because when you're watching this trailer, for some reason, even though it goes to 1080p, it didn't feel like that, I guess. I'm not saying the graphics,
it felt better than you thought.
No, it felt a little bit weaker. I don't know if maybe it was just our internet or what, but it felt...
Well, it's compression on YouTube, so you got to take that with a grain of salt, too.
Well, yeah, it's just, I guess after seeing Horizon Zero Dawn and what they did, geez. And what, Tomb Raider and ReCore and all these games and what they did, and then you see this, I don't know if it was just the detail. I'm not saying it's a bad game. It does look gorgeous, like you guys, well, I don't think that's the greatest looking, because I could only get that in 720p, so sorry, guys. But I do find there could have maybe been a little more details, but overall, the graphics did look gorgeous. There is definitely a lot going on, and you do see a lot of different textures. You do see, what we got to see in this anyways is, obviously the fire and, the different, orcs and all that and the humans and the detail that they did on himself.
Yes.
And when he goes to
I want
his
to touch
shadow,
on that too.
When he goes to his shadow part, looks fantastic.
That's the kind of the thing that I thought too, because I thought in the first game, Talion and Celebrimbor felt like two individuals sharing the same body, and they're still that way in this game, but they feel more of the same person now. They've come to understand who each other are, and they just play off each other really well. In this one, from what it looks like anyway, I could be completely and utterly wrong, but I just liked how it looked. I like how Talion came in and he kind of had the half face thing of Celebrimbor and stuff, and I thought that was really cool. I thought it looked really awesome.
I like the shifting part. I like how they do like where he's human and then you see his shadow part and stuff like that. I love that dynamic because honestly, if I could, I'd just watch his shadow part the whole entire time. Then, like, it just looks so much.
He's
cooler.
Gonna be using it a lot because he did use it a lot in this game.
No, I know, but it's just it just looks cooler, I guess.
I thought the effects were really cool in this too. They made a point of showing a lot of fire and stuff when they went to the fortress with the oil and all that kind of stuff, and the effects look fantastic. And there's ways around it and all that kind of stuff. I think graphically, like I said, I think it really does look good. Like it didn't wow me or blow me away or anything like that. And I think that's just because the first game was just so good, and it's kind of Middle Earth and stuff like that. So it's a very unique style, and they kind of have to stay in that whole realm and stuff. They can't really go too far out of there.
Yeah.
So I thought, overall, I thought it was really cool looking. So let's go ahead and get into the gameplay because they showed a shit ton of stuff.
Oh my god, did they?
Like I had to watch this trailer I don't know. I think like I watched it at least 10 times, at least. And every time I watched it, I always found like something else. And it's really cool. So where do you want to go ahead and start?
All right. Well, I guess like right off the bat, we kind of see where he's obviously just running through, and we do get some concept of what your objective is. You're going behind enemy lines, like what you were saying.
Yeah, essentially, it's kind of like the region part. And we didn't touch on that either on the graphics. Like that whole 3D map looked fantastic too. But you can select a region, and from what I was reading in some like articles and interviews and stuff with the art director and stuff, is each region is like an open sandbox where you can go play around, build your army, and then get to these fortresses, which is like the boss battle at the end kind of thing, which I thought was really cool. But go ahead, sorry.
I also, I'm hoping they stay with the same game mechanics because, the fact we're talking about gameplay and stuff like that, that was something I did enjoy in the first one, is how simple and easy it was to understand how you play your character and your movements, your attack fights and everything else like that, and it all does seem simply the same. And I do love the different weapons that you get, and of course I love the fact that the different enemies that there's so many enemies, and again you get to ride a drake. Hello people, you get to ride a dragon. I don't care, it's still a dragon. I know they call it a drake, but it's a dragon.
Yeah, I thought I wanted to touch on like the fighting mechanics too, because I was worried about this one, like they would change it too much from the first one, but it looks like they just polished and improved it more and kept like the base core fighting mechanics and stuff, which I absolutely love from the first game. I think they did enough to change it up with like the abilities and stuff like that we got to see. Like he was hovering in the air and shooting arrows down, and then used his hammer and like blew up the fire and all that kind of stuff. I thought that was really cool. This is going to be a game that I'm just going to get lost in for sure. Oh,
I'm sure. Like, there's so much going on, too. And, with the enemies and how they attack as well, whether they're... Oh, you also have, like, they tell you that, you can now make friends. You'll have your enemies. So you'll have, like, other people who are... Or not other people, but other...
yeah, they expanded the Nemesis system to be more, like, on the good side, too.
Yeah, and so, you have your group, I guess you'd call it, and, you get to lead them into battle, and at the same time with them all fighting, you're fighting, and it feels more like you're in the battle than, if you're just running in and trying to defend everything yourself. So I do love that they added that aspect to it.
Yeah, they said that this was, like, way bigger than the first game too, which is insane because the first game was like ginormous. So that's going to be a good time. I want to know, like, so you get to build your army, you take over these fortresses, and then you get to, like you said, take the Nemesis system and put your own guy in there to be the overlord to take over that area and do whatever you want. Now, when you're going to the next region, like, are the enemies going to be able to come back around and maybe, like, try and take it over, so you have to, like, come back and revisit every once in a while? Or is it, like, once you own that area, it's yours and that's it?
Well, the way that, the narrator was saying, it was like that is the case. Because, for instance, in this one alone, she described 3 different ones. There was the Necromancer, a pet one, and then, I can't think of what... Oh, no, the other guy was like this thing riding a dog. I don't know. But she described the 3, and she said, like, for the Necromancer, he uses his spells and casts things so that when the enemies come, that, they have to try to get through this fortress of whatever. And I thought maybe that meant that something obviously would try to come and take it over. But then she said you have this fortress so that you can train your army and you can actually like grow your army and stuff
get your
like
resources
that.
and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
So I don't know if that means that like how it happens or it like exactly. But obviously somebody has to guard it. Like that's why you're putting this person there, and you have to pick what special skills that the one that you're putting as the overlord, what his set skills are to protect that castle.
That's a good point, because like you're probably right too, because they wouldn't like go through the whole effort of like letting you put somebody there if they wasn't going to be like protecting and getting you more resources and trying to keep hold of that. That's a good point. Absolutely,
you would stay as the overlord. At least in my case, I would think you would stay as the overlord if you didn't need to defend it.
Right. I thought what was really cool about the whole overlord mechanic as well, because they added other things to it, is like they have their unique like tribe, and the area wherever they take over and running that fortress also changes the weather, the lighting, the look of the place. So that's why it kind of changed when they added his own overlord in there to like a much brighter, like golden kind of armor kind of thing. I thought that was really, really cool. And I also liked how she was saying like no two gamers is going to have the same story. It's just going to be like a completely kind of random thing that you get to play through and experience. I think that's really super exciting to me.
I'm curious how that actually works though, because
it's got to be the Nemesis system, just running it all, like just putting different people in different places, and you're just not story's going to be the same thing.
I guess, but for how many people play the game, how is it possible that no two people
I mean, it's a claim,
will
yes, I agree.
The same game. Like
I'm still excited about the notion of it.
Oh, I'm excited about it because no matter what gameplay you see on YouTube or streaming, it will never, like as their claim anyways, it will never be the same as what you are playing. Yeah. So it's always going to make it interesting to watch someone stream it or, videos of it or whatever. So
I was watching like the abilities and like, in the first game, like you have to do like so many combos and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And then it would unlock like more powerful abilities that you can then use. It's kind of like a spending system. I didn't see that. Now, I don't know if it's gonna be in there and they just like, as like an artistic thing, took it out so people couldn't see it, or you're just gonna have like a full like meter to do whatever the hell you want to, because it's gonna be these big battles now. I thought that was pretty interesting. I actually really enjoyed the combo meter. It made me want to fight and do things correctly and not just like spam a bunch of abilities. So if I was to guess, I'm sure it's probably going to be in there. They just didn't have it in the trailer.
I was going to say, I would think, but at the same time, you would think you would have seen it, though. But this is, of course, as you can see down in the corner, it is alpha gameplay, so it is obviously not the complete gameplay. And so it's possible.
They use that term loosely. I'm just going to say that.
Everybody does.
This game
Let's
looks
be honest.
like Final Cut to me.
It could be beta, alpha, Final Cut. But with yours, but then if that's the case, what you're saying, then that should, like, this was 16 minutes of gameplay. That means something should have shown that then.
Yeah, but they kind of like piece it, like you could tell like when he went from like one dragon and then it kind of cut up to where he was like flying and stuff. So they did cut some stuff out. Like they could take things out of the video and all that kind of stuff. That's true, but
why would they take something like that out though?
I don't know, man. Just to save like some stuff for the game when it launches, like to see. I hope it's in there. If not, whatever. We'll see how it goes.
There's the possibility.
I wanted to go into like the RPG elements that they're going heavily into, like with the gear and stuff like that. Like when he killed the one guy, I want to say he's like Stormbringer or something like that. He got the Rohan armor, and I was like totally geeking out on the armor and stuff because I was like, oh my god, the Rohan armor, and I was like, oh, that's really cool looking, and it changed his look because they had like some DLC skins and stuff from the first game that you can kind of put in, which was kind of cool. But now that you can just like, pretty much use the gamut of armor throughout, this lore.
They drop it, you wear it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it's got ability, like, it had like health and all that kind of stuff. So it's got abilities and stuff on it. So finding that gear for your play style is going to be really cool. I can't wait to dig into that and make up some cool looks.
I'm going to be killing people just for their armor. I'll be like,
I'm going to get all the armor. I bet you there's an achievement for that, like getting all the armor pieces.
I bet there is, which would be really... I'm actually curious what the achievements is going to be with this game, because obviously we know there's so much different things going on with it, and it'd be interesting. So
I agree. Thanks everybody for checking out the stream, guys. We love you guys. It's really awesome. So let's go ahead and go. Well, you already touched on the dragon stuff, so I won't touch on that. let's see, what else do we want to talk about? I think just the Nemesis system in general, and like how they really improved it from the first game is like, this is the kind of stuff that when we talk about like this gen or, you know, next gen and stuff, and you know, people get really wrapped around like the graphics and resolution and all that kind of stuff. But this is where I want to see like the innovation go with like the power of Scorpio and, you know, even the Pro and all that other kind of stuff. Like I want them to do more gameplay stuff like, you know, the Nemesis system, like I just the reiteration of it, how you can control your guys and do that. And, you know, and they're still, and from the interviews, they're still having all the old stuff too. So when you're fighting guys and if you don't kill them, they become stronger and move up in the ranks. So you can end up getting one of those super pain in the ass guys to fight later on.
You like they even stated that, you know, it'll go from the lowest guy on the totem pole can become an overlord. So that makes things interesting because, you know, you'll always have something stronger to fight. And the fact that they implicated having friends now just opens that even wider because it makes you wonder, how big is this map and how much are you going to be able to actually be able, like, how much can you take over and how big can you actually make your army? Like how...
Well, I don't know, like when you took over the one base, like it showed the map again and it showed like a bunch of blinking lights, like it showed like that's what you can control now. So that's the kind of the area that's under your overlord's power. I don't really know, like, you know, they didn't really, you know, get into too much of that, but I think that's going to have to be wait until we see some more. But like what you're talking about with the friend system and all that kind of stuff, I liked how you could put spies and stuff into the fortress and how he was fighting through the battle. I don't think it's literally going to play out like it did because it looks a little scripted in the way that everything played out. But how you can have people in there to help you out as you're fighting, I thought was really cool because he had like that, you know, Deadshot kind of like sniper guy up there and fought.
Yeah, because then he's like, thanks. And then he took the other guy's armor.
Nice shot. Yeah. I thought that was really cool. So I can't wait to do that kind of stuff too and get...
And then while he was fighting the big boss... the guy on the big dog-looking thing jumped through the flames and helped, even though his pet died, or at least it should have died because it broke its back. But still, you know, as you're fighting a boss, having that extra little help sometimes can really make or break.
They also didn't show how that works either. Like,
is it random?
I don't think it's gonna be random. It's probably like you have to get like another like combo meter or something to build up, and then you can call in a buddy to help you or something.
But I'm curious if it's kind of random though, because how they said like no two stories are going to be the same, and then she picked him to become the Overlord, and it was almost like, okay, well, I better pick him because he came in and protected me. So if I don't, could he turn everyone
could get
against
pissed
me?
off, be like, I saved you. That's a good point, because there was that guy that's like, you know, he betrayed you or whatever, and he was like against you.
Like they do.
That's
go
the really
and tell
cool
you
stuff that I really like.
You know, one of the orcs that you fight actually betrayed you. He was on your side. And then all of a sudden, you know, now you're killing him and you have these other allies. So it's kind of like very interesting to see if obviously, you know, your allies have something to do with how your story is conducted. And it's like, okay, if this is the case, do they just come in at random? And if they do and you don't do something like personally that they like, can they turn on you? And if so, that will make the story so much more intriguing. I think
that was the point of like the Stormbringer guy was like, hey, if you don't take care of your guys, they could turn on you and go to the dark side and stuff. And I think kind of I want to touch a little bit on the Overlord battle because those are the new tier of enemies. It's like the, you know, past the War Chief kind of things. I thought they were super unique. I liked how when you went into their throne room kind of thing there, it took on the persona of them and how they fight and all that kind of stuff. I thought that was really cool. So I can't wait to see the other tribes and how other ones are going to play out. And I just like that whole like changing the gameplay throughout the game kind of stuff. I think it's going to make for a great unique experience, and I can't wait to get my hands on this game and play it.
Can we just talk about the boss fight for a minute?
Sure.
Like we actually got to see one of the bosses, and oh my god, he was badass. And then how they killed him was even more badass. Like they chop off his hand and freaking stab the blade through his face, and like, oh my god.
Yeah, Calibur Moore is like taking over the place. He was like, boom.
It
I thought
was
that was
awesome.
really cool.
I thought like just the graphics and the overall animations that they have added into this is going to make it just really enjoyable to watch and keep going to see what else you can actually bring into this game.
There's gonna be tons and tons in this game.
Oh, that's for sure. Like,
I think that's about it for the gameplay. Besides like going into each of the abilities and stuff, but definitely go check out the trailer, guys. I wanted to touch a little bit on like story. We know it's Talia and Celebrimbor, the main protagonist. They have a ring of power now. You're building your armies and, going after the big baddie at the end. I'm guessing at this point, like, we don't really know the story, but how do you think it's going to play out? Because it was really interesting to see Talion. He doesn't have an army of humans. He has an army of orcs, and he has a ring of power. Now, if you read the books and stuff, anybody that had a ring of power were pretty much taken over and became the bitch of Sauron or whatever.
Which is kind of weird because how is Sauron not controlling him? Like,
yeah, that's this kind of stuff that we have to like.
It's
I don't know.
There's so many questions because,
and this is before the Lord of the Rings movies, so we kind of know what. I mean, basically, we kind of know where it's going to progress into.
Obviously, yeah, but. I'm kind of, like you said, the last game, it was humans. His allies were humans. They were fighting the orcs. Now his allies are some of the strongest orcs that are in this game. And it makes you wonder why and how did he come about this? But of course, obviously, they're going to save that for the game itself. They're not going to, like, obviously give us that details. But that... Oh my God, it has intrigued me so much that I want to just literally put the game in right now and start up and find out why.
Yeah, it's really interesting that he's not going around and like getting humans and stuff, and he's just I'm guessing he's taken like his like powers where he can like control people and bringing them to his fold and all that kind of stuff to make an army.
But is he? That's the thing. Like, we don't even know that either.
I don't know. Maybe this is his transition into being, a bad guy kind of thing. I don't know. That's the cool part of the story itself and figuring it out when we get there and seeing what's going on. But super excited for the game. Absolutely excited.
But again, we know it's Lord of the Rings. So story-wise, obviously they're not going to give us much detail right now. No. And are you surprised? Like, let's be honest, guys. Would you really want the story ruined?
I don't want it ruined.
I don't want it ruined. So I'm just kind of, I'm okay with not having much details about the story. I guess I'll just leave it with that. I'm excited to get into this for it.
Yep, I agree. So that's a good point. Like from spitting, like you need the one master ring that controls the others. Yeah, I see. That's why I don't know where it falls into the lore wise. Like, does he still have the ring? Does Frodo have it, or the hobbits and stuff like that have it yet, or Gollum? I don't know. Like that's kind of where I don't know where it falls in the whole timeline kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to figure it out and see what's going on. I'm waiting to play the Scorpio. It's now 4K 60. Going to be tempting, but yeah, I definitely agree, Tokos. But yeah, I think overall, this is going to be like just a short little podcast, guys, and just talk about it. But I think overall, super excited about this game. I can't believe that they've already announced it, like, and say, hey, here you go. Like,
hey, well, it comes out August 22nd.
I guess they do need some time to, like, pump it up or whatever.
But I'm happy for the fact that they kept it quiet, and we know about it now. And then it's releasing in August. That means we'll see something about it at E3. I'm sure we'll see probably more gameplay of it and stuff like that. But it's not ruined because we know it's releasing August 22nd. So it's like they need to hype it now, get it ready now. I'm just curious, though. I want to know if Shadow Mordor is actually going to end up being, like, say, Xbox Live or even PlayStation.
Well, it's on everything.
Yeah. Well, no, I know. But if it's going to become Xbox Gold. If it's going to become game. Yeah, I said that, Shadow Mordor. If Shadow Mordor becomes like Xbox Gold, or if it becomes PlayStation Plus, I'd be curious to see if they'll put that into the hands of more gamers so that they actually
get the
it.
Game.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Like, I could totally see that, absolutely. I think you said that on other podcasts too, like you would like to see that.
Well, Project Cars is doing it. They did it.
I would not mind it. I already have the game, but I think everybody should play it for sure. Any other final thoughts or anything before we get out of here? We want to keep this kind of short, but
Yeah, it's kind of just, I hope you guys are excited. Make sure you guys, if you can't see it clearly here, go check it out. Actually listen to what she has to say and the details about this game. I think you guys will be pretty excited, especially if you enjoy Lord of the Rings. This is definitely a game for you.
Awesome. Yeah, I agree. Can't wait for this game. It's going to be fun.
The dialogue is funny, too. I'm sorry. I just
she just wants to keep talking about it.
No, I'm sorry. It reminded me of something when he was up there dancing on the wall. The dialogue was funny.
Yeah.
There was actually really good dialogue in this. So.
Yep. Can't wait. Well, that's it, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the video and this short little podcast thing. If you did, please hit us a like. And if you didn't, you know what to do. Let us know in the comments below, like what you think of this game. What do you want to see? And all that kind of stuff in the comments. We love to hear from you guys. We read them all and we try to respond to everyone. So thanks again. I am GKB, the governor, and that is...
I'm She-Wolf, guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed.
We will see you in the next one, and make sure you check out Xbox Nation tonight. We're going to be on there. Take care of your fellow gamers, guys.
Bye, guys.